Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Brian Lin, and welcome to the Piano Star Masterclass. During the live stream, you can ask us any questions in the chat, and we will do our best to answer them. You can also sign up to be a performer for these masterclasses and get a chance to perform for a live audience. Today's guest teacher, Chantal Balestri, is the co-founder and artistic director of the Lunigiana International Music Festival. She is a versatile classical musician active worldwide. Highlights of her recent career includes her debut in South America, along with solo and chamber music performances in North America, Europe, and Asia. She is also the New York president of the World Piano Teachers Association. So, without further ado, let's welcome Chantal Balestri.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Chantal. How are you doing?
Fine. Thank you so much for inviting me here tonight.
Thank you. So for those of our audience who don't know, where are you joining us from?
I'm joining you actually from Italy. I'm
Right.
actually in New York since 5 years, where I work. You mentioned World Piano Teacher Association. I'm actually president of a New York section.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And
so
I'm
you
in my hometown.
I see. So you're from Italy, but you're based in New York. Is that correct?
Exactly. I'm actually Italian and Swiss as well.
Right. Okay. So since we only have a little bit of time, right, only 30 minutes to talk about our topic today, so why don't we just jump right into our topic, which is the how to prepare for a last minute performance, right? So my first question for you is, why is this important to you? Or why did you feel like you wanted to talk about this topic?
Yeah, thank you so much for this question. Well, we could talk about so many topics. There are so many to pick up. And I was thinking the way like how we musicians and specifically now today pianists, how we do a career, what we usually do to try to make something happen beautiful in our professional life. And I was thinking, first of all, the first thing what comes to mind is like competitions. And of course, this is one of the paths what we can pursue. Another path, which is very common, like now in these ages and these times, is like networking and like being able to do many different kind of things, being also a little bit of a manager of yourself, which is extremely important, and also for me was really important to pursue. But I was thinking about also another aspect which sometimes is not really spoken about, and it's like sometimes things just happens and you need to be ready and you need to be ready for that. So, and this can be like preparing for a last minute performance. So, and with performance, I not just mean like in a concert, can be many kind of different things. So, for example, I'll let you know what are the situation. First of all, even if I spoke like competition, like a career path, and with a way to start the career, can be also usually you plan it. Usually it's something like you don't do last minute, but sometimes can even pop up a last minute competition, like in 1 week before, 10 days before, you think, oh, there is this application, what should I do? Should I not do this or should I do not? Same for auditions. I know that in North America, audition are really planned in advance, but especially in my country where I come from, sometimes audition just come up last second. You need to be ready to do that. Other situation is like in life, you know, you might be visiting, going somewhere, meeting someone important, and maybe you don't know, or maybe you know, but you might meet that person, you know, who is an artistic director, a music teacher, a general musician, and maybe that person just want to listen to you. You know, and what do? You need to be basically ready for, for this challenge. And I can give an example for myself. For example, before moving to New York, I was visiting New York, just visiting, and I went to a concert. After the concert, in the elevator, I met a musician I really esteemed and know, and we started talking. And it was like, for how long are you staying in New York? And then he asked me like, can you play for me 2 days after, in 2 days? And I was like, sure. I mean, I didn't know that this was going to happen, but then happened, and we started a very good professional relationship, and invited me also to a performance later on. So this was an example. And then, of course, there is the most common performance one, which is the concerts. So, and especially if you are a music student, for example, can happen that schools organize concerts and then there is a last minute cancellation and they reach out to the students, and the student who is the fastest and saying, yes, I can do it, it's the one who gets that. And you know, from that you can get different kind of opportunities. So everything I mentioned, it leads to opportunities. So you need basically to be ready for that. Now, I'm speaking not just about soloists, of course, and I'm also speaking about being ready if you do have experience in chamber music. It can be with chamber music, it can be with contemporary music ensemble, it can be with singers. So I'm, of course, speaking about in general, the figure has a pianist to be ready to do these kind of things. And now, how this is happening, basically, there are two kind of scenarios in which you can be asked to do something last minute. One is like they contact you and they give you, like, they say, you can play whatever you have. It's fine for us. And this is actually the best case scenario you can have. But also, it's very important to mention that because it leads to the fact that we always need to have something ready. So if you're a music student, you need really to be aware that this situation can happen. And so you need always to have something in your repertoire. Like it happened to me when I met with that professor in New York City, can happen to you as well. So always be aware to have something ready. So even if you're studying new repertoire, always have something that is ready. Now, the thing I wanted more to focus on today is actually the worst case scenario, which was actually, it's worse in a certain way, but it's also very exciting, is when they ask you to do something in the context, like in a piano concerto, for example. It happens that sometimes and you need to be ready. And you can, of course, you can decide if doing that. This is a very hard decision, and I cannot say right now about it, but I'm taking for granted that you want to take this challenge. And it's also important to think that this can happen anytime. Because, for example, I give my example because I'm not speaking, but you can ask to other piano teacher, I'm sure that say it happened a lot to them. The first time I actually was asked to do this last minute was when I was 13 years old. And I was asked to do the Bach piano concerto. And then happened again was at 15. So this means it's not just happening when you are in college or when you are done. It's happening, it can happen even before, or there is an opportunity. So this is something that you need to have so in mind from now in general going on. And so now, let's say like someone, artistic director or your teacher called you and said, listen, there is this amazing opportunity. You can perform this concerto, a Mozart concerto, let's say, or Beethoven concerto in 1 week. And you say, okay, that's really hard, but I want to try to do this. Okay, so how to actually do that? Basically, this is the first reaction would be like panic and just start playing and just try to do that and say this is actually a no. Why? Because then you will probably regret if you just start and you just try to do things. So first thing, come with calm. Even if you know the piece and you heard this already, if you are a good sight reader, the first thing I suggest you, the most important one, is really to take the score and try to read it through. I mean, it's not important that if you do mistake, of course, you will do, or I mean, if you don't do, good for you. And if you can even skip some section if you think it's too hard, you know, and this is a good way to get an idea. Now, if you don't feel comfortable in doing that, of course, this is not the only option, even if I strongly suggest it as the first way to approach a piece, but might be also you take a recording, a good recording, you can find so many, and you take the score. So always having the score in front of you, it's very, very important. So you listen to that, you go through that. So why you need to do that? To get a general idea, basically, what you are going to work on, and to look, especially if you actually do sight read the piece, you will understand where are the trickiest part, the part which will need some kind of, let's say, technical work. Doesn't mean that the other ones are not important, but simply to get an idea for you, where are the hardest, the most challenging part. And at the same time, it's let's say, the first part to analyze the piece, because this will be really important to have in mind how its piece is made, how it's the form. I don't mean going on looking at each chord, because this is going to be a very big work and unnecessary when you have not a lot of time. But having a general idea, this will really help you, and will also help you later when you will actually need to memorize the piece. And so this is the first step that you will need to do. Once you have in mind how it's the form of a piece, it's creating, let's say, a macro plan. What does it mean, a macro plan? Now, let's say we have 7 days, okay? And just giving an example because it's case by case and just making it up. So you have 7 days. Let's say that in 5 days, we want to have everything ready, okay? And so you can decide, for example, to say the first 2 days, I want to do the first movement of a concerto, the second day, and the third day, I want to do the second movement, the third and fourth day, I want to do the third movement of a concerto, okay? So you create that. And then from that, basically, you can then create even a smaller section, let's say. So the first 2 days, you do the first movement. So in the first day, you need to decide what to do in the first day and what to do in the second days. Now, there are 2 ways. The suggested part, the suggested way I give to you is based on the form. This is why I spoke to do analysis. So for example, let's take a movement of a sonata, okay? I will do exposition development, no? The first day, and then second day, or just disposition, and then the second day going to develop and the recapitulation. If it's a concerto, the first day you work on that, and the second day you work on the cadenza. This is choice you can make before based on how did you feel by looking at the piece the first time. And or there is another way, but it's not my favorite one, but I know that it was pages the hard. We say it's 20 pages first movement, and the 20 pages 10 pages the first day, 10 pages the second days. And if I'm not saying something wrong, now I don't remember the name of the important pianist, it was saying like he was not going on then after each page was perfect. So this is also a way to do that, even if I will go more for the form. So this is basically what we need to do. So, and the goal, basically, what you need to take in mind is whatever happens, you need to stick to it. You need to have it ready. So if you decide the first day, I want to have ready this position development, it needs to be ready, because if not, it will create some kind of delay. So really being focused and being also honest with yourself, knowing what you can do, basically. And so, and also you can adjust a little bit. Of course, this is a process and it takes time, but we can speak about it later about this. So now in details. So how do you actually do it? You take the first page, okay? What you would like to do? You think, okay, I need to perform this in 1 week. Let's just play everything fast and go for it. No, it's a no, because what happens is when we are anxious and we want to get something done, we basically sometimes don't pay attention to many details, which later we create us problems. Let's say like you're missing some notes, and then you need, in 4 days, you are like, why I didn't think about it before? And you need to correct them. And it's taking much longer to then correct. Or fingering as well. You are like, okay, I just play whatever fingers goes by. I'm not saying like to be extremely like under control everything, but having some things that you want to work from the really beginning. And this will really pay off a lot, because basically the work you do then it's so correct, there is a very good method. So then you're improving and you have not to go back to review things but were not working before. So I would suggest really to start slow, to start to now, it depends on the piece, depends, some piece can be half tempo. I mean, sometimes you do a second movement, it's already slow. So of course now I'm more speaking about the faster movements right now. But in general, we'll keep it calm, keep it slow, and pay attention to say every note and the rhythm first. And sorry, I was saying the notes, the fingering, and then the rhythm, which is actually so important. And this is happening also a lot of time, because when you read, you just go for it, you look at the notes, but you are not very, very precise with rhythm. And especially like we were speaking now, you are preparing a piano concerto, right? A new piano concerto. You need to play with orchestra as well. And of course, you will need to be really precise with that. Not that you don't need to be in general, but especially in this situation. So one thing I strongly suggest, and I've seen being really effective, like when you prepare like in such last minute way, is actually using a metronome. And I know that it's not the most nice things for us pianists sometimes can be, but it's really, really, really important. And you can just really start with a slow tempo and then bring it up everything slowly to the next level. And going like, let's say you are 80 of metronome, you go to 86, you go to 95, something like this. So slowly, gradually going up and making sure that not some parts are faster, some are slower. No, everything needs to grow up together to reach that point, you know? So this is basically what you need to approach, how to approach. And of course, everything else is important. I mean, I'm just saying this is the basic, but of course, articulation, dynamics, the character of the piece. I mean, everything needs to be there, but these are really, the notes, fingering, and the rhythm are really the first things you want to have in mind when you start reading. And so yes, so basically this would happen in the first 5 days, and every day you will need to have what you practiced the day before. So let's say that the second day you finish the first movement, the second part, you need to be able by the second day to play the entire first movement, you know, so you put everything together and you try to go with it. And then the same thing will happen. The third day you will do the second movement and the first movement. You need to review everything together. And this will be the only way to make it happen in 5 days. And like when you are the fifth day, okay, now I'm ready to a full performance of this. And then you spend the last 2 days basically in preparing for the performance. So you keep like, of course, reviewing the details, everything. Some things will be like still to work on, but you can work on them. And one thing also I suggest, but it's really helpful sometimes, is recording yourself. And like you play the entire things, and then you just listen to the recording, and then you see what it's not working, and you can improve, because sometimes, you know, we are missing some things like we don't notice. And then of course we try. And another thing I suggest is, if you don't have a pianist who can play with you, you can use the recording. I mean, it's not, I'm speaking now piano concerto, of course. It's not the best thing to do, but still it might be really helpful, because you want to know the orchestration, you want to know what's going on, you want to be able to at least try before going to do a rehearsal. So basically, this is my suggested way how to really prepare all of this. And of course, now, I mean, I was speaking 7 days. It would be like, many of you would like think like, oh, that's really a lot. But trust me, it's happening. It's happening, maybe not 7 days, 2 weeks, but still, this is something. And the main thing is to think really to organize our time and really be mathematics in that, and really divide like this and try to stick as much as we can. Also, we are not superhuman, okay? And we have our limitation, and we have our things going on. So my suggestion is, when this kind of things happens, basically, you need to be ready for that. And so don't overstress you. So take this, do this just if you know that this can be your priority. Because if you have a very busy schedule, you are taking so many classes, in case you are a student, if you are already a professional musician, if you have a lot of work, teaching to do, it can be overwhelming. It's not that it's not possible, but it's preferable to really prioritize this. And so to really work on that, because it will take time. Also, needs of absolutely, you need to take care of yourself when you do this kind of things, because so to sleep well, to eat well, because it can be absolutely overwhelming if you don't really try to slow down in everything else in your life. And then another important thing, which actually is extremely important, is don't just think is actual practice on the instrument. And right now I spoke about playing on the piano. But one thing you can do, of course, one thing I mentioned, it was like also to listen to recordings like I did in the beginning, and your recordings as well. But another important point is mental practice. Now, mental practice will be a little bit big to speak about, and I know that already a colleague of mine, Nicolas Namoraz, in another masterclass spoke about it. So go to see that in case you want to know more.
Yes, many other teachers. All if I learned anything in my series of Piano Star Masterclass, a lot of teacher recommends mental practice, and I'm glad that you also do.
Absolutely, because it's amazing. But of course, like, for example, you never done mental practice, or it's something you are not really used to do, and you have such a short time, you cannot practice mental practice. So the thing I suggest you is to like one thing I do, and I suggest my students doing, is before going to sleep, like review the score, look at the score, and just go with it. If it's something like you can still, it's hard for you imagine a score, it's just looking at the score and looking through that. And also another thing I suggest, in case it's hard to you, it's, yeah, as I say, it's listening and looking at the score. So this is something really, really important in case. And also why I say before sleep, because there are some studies which say that the thing what we study before sleeping, they stay longer and we learn faster by doing that. So this might be a really good thing to take in mind, not just for last minute, of course, even in general when you prepare something.
Understood. So to recap a little bit, basically, it's really important to plan, first of all, right? It's really important to divide things up, and then after you planned, you stick to your plan, and then you do it portion by portion, and then at the end you put it together and review it, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Thank you so much for your summary.
Right. So, just on the let's take your example of learning a concerto. I know some concertos have a disproportionate proportion. I don't know if that makes sense. Some concertos, for example, have a really long, a 30-minute first movement, and then a pretty short, second and third movement. In that case, would you recommend, maybe spending a few more days on the first movement and then moving on to the second and third movements?
Absolutely. I mean, what I said, I just said was an example. I wish I could like go with real example right now. It would be nice, because every single case is different. Also, another important thing is everyone is different, and you need to know your limits. You need to know how you react to that. How you know? By doing it. So probably you don't want to wait that this happened to try that. I mean, you can, but it would be really risky. Like everything requires practice. Everything we know. It's not something like suddenly we do. So you can actually put yourself in this kind of situation, not maybe doing a real concert, not maybe doing something, but say, okay, let's do this time. Let's challenge myself. I want to learn this piece in 1 week, and let's see how it goes. So this is just by doing that, then when you will, something like this will happen, you will know, and also depends also, as I said also in the beginning, it can be so many different things. For example, if you never you done contemporary music, if they ask you to do last minute concert contemporary music, maybe it's not the best thing to do, to say yes regarding to that. I'm just saying that the important thing I want to stress out is that these things can happen. And I know many musicians who had to go through that, and they actually obtained very good opportunities because of this. Or actually they stand up because of this. They work out to replace someone, and suddenly they became a thing because of this. So it's something to take in mind, but you can do that. But of course, this is so personal. I just shared a way I will do that, but even me, if I change this kind of plan every time it comes a challenge like this.
What about the point of memorization? Where does that point come in terms of preparing for a performance, last minute performance? Do you do it as you go, or do you do it at the end?
Well, this is actually a very good question. This is, I think it's very personal, because there are people who memorize right away. So it's not such a thing thinking to memorize, because it comes naturally then. Unfortunately, in my case, I'm not that kind of person. I'm a person who needs to actually practice my memorization. So I do while I go. I mean, the earlier you do this, the better it is. So when it's really last minutes, I try to combine right away the reading and learning by memory. Then it's not perfect, it's okay. It's okay. But every day I force myself to really memorize the piece.
I see. And would you say that your advice, I know we took concerto as an example, which is more for, a higher level or older pianists. Would you say this advice works for younger students, younger pianists as well, where they, especially those who really struggle with, learning things quickly? Pianists always take weekly lessons, but, some pianists learn slower than others. And would you give the same advice to them as well?
Well, this is brings back to what I said before. Everything needs practice. So, of course, if you are slow in learning something new, it means you need to work on that. You just need, it takes time. So, and you can challenge yourself, maybe not in 1 week, but say, okay, how shall I learn a piece in 1 month, 1.5 months? And then you try a little bit less, say instead of 1 month, I try in 3 weeks, So this is, of course, it requires a good level of reading, or because this is, of course, if really challenging to do that. But it's a process, like everything. It just takes time. It's not that when I said 13, of course, that's when I said my first time was when I was 13, but I started playing piano like I went 7 years before. If this would have happened when I was 8, probably was going to be too challenging for me, and then I was kind of used to do that. So I was like, had some teachers who actually struggle sometimes saying, hey, try to learn this piece kind of fast. So it's a process, and there is nothing bad if in that moment you feel like it's hard for you. It's okay. Just maybe you never done this kind of experience, and just you need to be patient, and that this is something you can work on. And this is actually a very nice thing, thinking that you can improve and finding new skills.
Right. So since we only have a minute, I want to squeeze in one last question in there. You mentioned about keeping repertoire on your hands, right? Just in case, so that you don't have to do a lot of these last minute preparation. So how do you have any advice on how best to do that? How to keep it? Do you just run it through every day? What is your strategy on keeping things ready?
Actually, this is very good, and I'm sorry I'm taking 1 minute to say that. Okay, what I'm just saying now, it's very important to say this is a thing we need to do when we have a dangerous situation, with last minute situation. We take this for granted, that you can do that when you regularly practice well, with calm, and doing everything you can do to really have everything under control in every detail. So this kind of practice is really for last minute. It's not the usual way to practice. You have absolutely not to take this as the way to usually practice. So which means if you usually practice well and everything, you prepare this kind of pieces with calm, and with you can always improve. And once you played them, let's say multiple concerts, they're already ready, you don't need actually to perform that every day. It's absolutely not necessary. I mean, it depends how the piece is ready, how many times you perform that, how much you work on that. there are some pieces like I have so much in my hands, for example, and that I don't play like for 6 months, and then they are kind of there like in 1 week. So it depends. But also in this repeat, it means you need to know yourself, because just you know how much time you need you need to go back to a piece you already know, and this takes time. It's just time, but it's a very good and interesting challenge for yourself to know about yourself, your limits, and your qualities and everything.
Right. So start practicing early. Have both the skills of a long and refined preparation, but also have the ability and flexibility to prepare last minute.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Thank you so much.
Great. Great. Okay. Well, time flies really fast, and we already past the time of our Star Talk. So why don't we move on to the masterclass session? Okay. For people who's watching this for the first time, now we have an hour of masterclass of 2 students, and we will now admit the first student into our Zoom meeting room. His name is Giorgio, and I believe he will be playing Chopin Ballade No. 1. So Jojo, hi. You can feel free to turn on your camera and your mic anytime you want. Or maybe I will need to do that for you. Oh, okay.
Hello.
Hi, wow, you've got a professional setup there.
Yeah.
Nice, nice, nice. Okay, well, I will hand it to you guys. All right?
Thank you. Hello?
Hello.
Okay, thank you. So let's listen to Chopin.
Yeah.
Do you hear me?
Yeah.
I was clapping you. I'm sorry you didn't hear. Very, very good. I mean, there are not a lot of things to say. I mean, you know this very well. You know exactly what you want to do. And it's just simply great. So I like your ideas. I mean, in Chopin, sometimes, I mean, many times, there can many ways like people can think to interpret that, and you listen so many different recordings about the different ideas, especially, I mean, in such an important piece and famous piece like this Ballet First. And so the idea you have are really clear, and this is what I can say it's a very convincing performance, you know. So the idea I'm just giving to you right now, it's just some suggestions I have regarding just how not to drop the flow and of the climax, and how to prepare it better or continue it. It's everything else. It's very good. I would like to start actually with something that it's not about doing louder and continuing, but to the contrary, it's the meno mosso, which is happening on measure 194, where it's the pianissimo, sempre. You have measures? Yeah. Great. So that part, the meno mosso, what do we have before in terms of dynamics?
The forte is the last thing.
Yeah, it's forte. Then there's ritenuto, then diminuendo, and rallentando, okay? Ritenuto, diminuendo, rallentando. And you did this very well in terms of tempi. Now, I would like to prepare this pianissimo a lot better, which means this is the team coming back again, okay? It's the same team which is coming over and over, and this part is kind of magical. It's, as time we say, it's very, very quiet. And we want this not to be another time. We don't want this to be like, again, saying the same thing. So I will just prepare it and then really start from really nothing. And we'll create a bigger effect. Do you want to try from there? Like, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7 measure before, wherever it's comfortable for you. Yeah, that worked better. I will do even more diminuendo. I mean, it was very special how you created, but I will prepare it even more. I mean, I'm not sure now if it's the audio, but I'm listening, but really I will bring it up. But now it's a little more special than before, but you got it. Can you just try to do a little bit more diminuendo? Yeah, very good. That you got it. Yeah, that's perfect. This is very good. Now, there is another point which I wanted to speak with you is when it's a più animato 126. Thank you so much for showing the score. That's really helpful. Yes, I spoke to organizer. When you start the più animato, okay, it's basically what's happening there. It's kind of accelerando, no? It's a più animato which goes on, and then it's a più vivo, and then enters in this scherzando, basically. And we don't want to stop the flow in that, absolutely. We start in piano, we have this crescendo, and then more and more till the scherzando. So we want this to continue. So don't stop when at 130, you basically change and you go to the chromatic with the right hand and you're going up. So you took too much time there. So just don't stop till you arrive to the scherzando, in a few words. Yeah, that's very good. The thing I really think, because it's like there is going into the più vivo, and it's good you want to highlight that highest note because we actually reached that high notes and we want them to be clear. But I could not really understand that it was più vivo there. You know, it needs to be even more. And then when you're in scherzando, yes, it's fine what you do, but really this will help to make it even more effective, as we say before. Let's try. But there it is good. This is a good idea. It's still, you can do what you did before. It's a little bit of balance what you did before in making this sure, but then continue to that and not taking too much time. And then so it will not stop at the flow. This is actually very, very good. Okay, now I wanted actually to do one of the hardest part, which is actually the real beginning. Can you do this again?
The beginning.
Yeah. Good, good, good. No, I noticed something before, but now what's not happening. It's not really precise. I can stand your rhythm also as well, even if you take in return, it's very good. Now it was just a very minor going from here to this. It was a little bit too soon if you count this and that. But it's good. If not, it's everything fine. Okay, can we just go to the moderato? Okay, good. I'm interrupting you. No, I think probably my bad. My internet was not really working well before. I wanted to speak with you about the internal voice, and right now I was able to listen a lot more to them. This everything is absolutely great. Okay. Another thing is when we have a tempo, which is a measure 36. Yeah, there I will actually go kind of right away a tempo there. I don't know if it's written in your score.
Yeah.
It's written. Okay. I don't know. Maybe sometimes there are different kind of editions, so sometimes it can be different. So yes, I will just really go a tempo there. So can we try from a little bit before? You don't need to do all the little notes if you don't want to, just to measure before. Yeah, I mean, you can still you can still have this kind of feeling, okay? I mean, laughter is coming agitato by maintaining kind of a same tempo. I mean, it's just because I'm reading what is written, and I think that would be a way to try, and then you can a little bit adapt to that, but it's still two different tempo, you know? So just trying to keep this a little bit more. Can we try? Yeah, I mean, that was kind of too much. Yeah. I never play that, so this is why I'm not playing it today, because because of this. A little bit, and then agitato, yes, but doesn't mean like change completely the tempo. You know, it's more like a feeling. To make it agitato. It's after which is going to sempre più mosso, okay? So it needs to be more like kind of yeah, as we said before, coherent in terms of the tempo, you know. And it's going in rushing too much. It can be very nice. I mean, absolutely, but we have more time later to do this this accelerando in the sempre più mosso. Okay, so you don't need to go on so much, and it's more like a feeling. Actually, it's nice that we can still have this feeling of quarter rest. And if it's missing, like now it was kind of missing, then we miss also this sense of agitato itself. So make this sure that it's still there, and then when you are sempre più mosso, you can just go. Good. Now, the thing is, you wanted to do this rest, which was really good. You wanted to do it, just now you pull back too much. So it's just a way to find the both way, you know. Okay, it doesn't mean you need to take it too slow. It's something you feel comfortable with, just taking mind to take this breath, to have this breath in your mind, and then it's everything. It's very good. Can we go from the sottovoce part? Okay, good. This is very beautiful, and you do absolutely amazingly. And it's just what I'm thinking is, you know, this is probably not the first time you heard about it. It's like the way a singer sings this, you know. And I understand that the first time the accent is, and the second time is not. But I'm not really sure that I will do that decrescendo in that. I will still maintain it. Okay, and just not to break too much the line. Okay, from the cantato. Not because you have not to give an accent. Here you need the first time to accent more, but here it's and to do something nice, but not disappear. Okay, if not, you break the line. You break basically the line there. I'm speaking about measure 80, if someone is searching. Yeah. So you want to try that measure 79, going a little bit before. Yeah, and then your goal, I mean, this is something you can think about if you like it or not, but just the thing was losing the tensions there, which is pretty nice, like the singer will do. And then you need to arrive to that note, okay? This is literally the last goal before we start the part in the sempre pianissimo, okay? So more direction into that note. Yeah. And then you can go in. I will not really stop that. And this is just an idea I give to you to just keep continuing this kind of atmosphere. And then this was really good. The second quarter was really good again. The Christian, I mean, there are so many good things. So it's even hard for me to really say to you many things. Yeah, one actually. Yeah, actually, it's going back to the section we were speaking about before the più animato, basically. You have not to rush too much into it. Let's see. It was from. Can you play from 119 again? Yeah. Good. I like the tempo a lot right now. The thing now I meant with the tempo, but to not taking time neither. And then you arrive to this last note, and then you go down to fortissimo. No, it's continuing to a ting, 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 ting. It's going from here to the left hand. So this is the main note we need to listen there. And then. So basically, this is our goal: the fortissimo, the right hand, left hand, and then. Can we try? Yeah. I will give a little bit more important. Not playing it louder. It's not. It's everything in minuet, absolutely just that note which need to stick out a little bit more. Okay, and then when I need this thing, it doesn't mean that this is not important. Yes, but the thing is just you need to have these two notes in mind, but still this is important. You still need to be loud. It's not because you think about this, but it's less loud. Yeah. Already better, but yeah. So basically, in a few words, sometimes you can think what do you want about the flow, to take a rest, let's say, to stop, or to continue it. And sometimes it's more exciting simply just to continue and find the key notes, okay, where you need to give the most importance, And in this case, I give an example, can be this, think about the right hand and then the left hand going into there. And so this, of course, you can apply to other parts as well, as we mentioned it. And so basically it's that. Yeah. I'm just thinking, the end was absolutely good. Actually, it was pretty fast. You managed it pretty well. And can we actually just go from 242? You sure you're not rushing the last 3 bars a little bit? You go a little bit too much into it. But it's okay. No, I mean, it's very good. The character is very good. It's just little things. The ritenuto, it's very well. You do this, you slow down there. Just be coherent with that, okay? Which means when you finish it, whatever tempo you do, keep that tempo, okay? You are too anxious to do the accelerando, the part after. So okay, so don't just go into it. Enjoy your ritenuto and the last note, and then go into it. And also the one after, it's the same. You went too much into the fortissimo, the notes right away. Remember that there is a little rest in the group of 6, just a tiny bit, and you arrive just a tiny bit before. But it's just a small thing, but if you are precise with that, can be also, but as we said before, more effective. Can we try that from Ritenuto, the first one? Or maybe actually no. Let's start from before when you do the or the scale. Yeah. Actually, do that. I mean, you can take a little bit of tempo there. I mean, it's more exciting there, you know, and just bam, ping pong. Yes, of course, it's like ooh, but you can just follow what is written. It's good there, so you don't need even. Yeah. Anyway, that's really good. I think we are fine. I don't know now how much time we are, but really good job. For how long did you practice that? Since we were speaking about last minute things.
I've been doing this for a bit over a month. Yeah.
A month?
Yeah, probably a month and a half, something.
Okay. Well, congrats for this. It's pretty good. I mean, for 1 month, yeah, it's absolutely great. So you did a very good job. I mean, I didn't enter into details about the form, about everything, because clearly you know about this. So I wanted just to show up just a little things, ideas you can think about. You're reviewing these things, like where you can take more time, where you're not, and how to make this more consistent. But if not, really, generally, it's very good. Many good things, good sound, good idea, and good understanding. So great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Giorgio, for your beautiful performance for the masterclass. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much.
All right, great. So we have our next performer ready in the waiting room. So we will get her in. Her name is Johanna. And I believe she will be playing Beethoven Sonata, Opus 90, the first movement. So, hi Johanna, you can turn on your mic and the video anytime you want.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, so your camera is a little bit. Your camera is to the
Tilted,
orientation.
right? Okay,
Yeah,
let
it's
me
tilted.
adjust it.
So,
is this okay? It's kind of
right. So I am assuming you're using a phone or an iPad. So you might need to just move it around a little bit to make sure. You might need to unlock your screen. Is your screen locked in any way?
So this is actually the way it's set up. So like my phone hold just only has one way, and I don't think I can stretch it. Yeah, I apologize for that.
I see. So is it because it's to our audience? It also looks, it looks completely vertical. So, do you have your screen locked?
No, actually. So I'm in landscape, I think.
Okay. You need to. I think you need to unlock.
I know what's going on.
Yeah.
Let me try. Okay.
You might need to unlock portrait. Oh, there you go.
Sure. Okay.
There you go. Whatever you did, that worked. Great. Johanna, where are you joining us from?
From Switzerland.
Switzerland. Great.
Yeah.
Very international. We're in 3 different countries here. Okay. All right. I'll leave it up to you guys.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I look forward to listen with this.
Thank you. So I prepared for Beethoven Opus 90, and the first sets or the first movement.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good, very good. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So when I mean this piece, this sonata. Okay, it's after Les Adieux. You know about that, but it's after one of the most challenging. And then it started the late period of Beethoven with the 101. So we are in this between, and this sonata is really, really particular, right? It's very different from other ones. So first of all, it's in 32 movements, and then the first one, that it's a little bit shorter than usually it is, right? Because we are this position is not complete, and then the development is just about the theme of the first team. So it's really particular to do that. Now, before we start, I want to know, do you know what does it mean, the title of it in German?
So with a livelihood, Lebhaftigkeit, and then Empfindung und Ausdruck is like with expression, basically.
That's great. I can hear you know very well German, so it's been very easy for you to understand. Very good. Yes, exactly. It's this one. Great. And so exactly, it's like this piece, and there is a lot happening. It's like there is never peace in this piece. There are so many changes, for forte, loud, pianissimo, and a lot of fermatas. And the rest and things, so it can be very rhythmical, ritardando. So there is a lot of things going on, And so having in mind how like the structure is, it's like helping you to really understand how when you can do this kind of changes in dynamics, but also in character and when not. And most of the things were really, really good. I will just start from the real beginning, but always in general, it's the hardest part to do. So what happens there? So this piece is basically is E minor, okay?
Yeah.
So yeah, and but so I start forte, and then there is this Chopin piano, and then there is it's in piano again, okay? And we want this to be really, really like different, and much, and not by changing the tempo, just by changing the dynamic there. Can we just try the real beginning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should I go through until measure 23, 24 until the fermata?
I want the first 8 measure right now. Really, the beginning of a theme.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I will stop you in case. Don't worry. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Very good. Now this is forte. We have time for fortissimo later happening, right? So it's important, but more like really loud. It needs to be more the character, very distinct, very like pum, pum, pum. Okay, so I will not overdo it. I will just keep it and more in the character and the articulation. Okay, and really precise with going. Not changing anything in tempo. It's very particular. For example, there the I don't know which edition are you using.
Helly.
Oh, okay, good. We have the same one, so it will be very, very easy. It's very particular because there is nothing, then there is legato and portato. So we have the stress of the first. So really paying attention to really be very, very precise with articulation there and keeping this piano, okay?
Yeah.
So can you just do actually this first 4 measure, right? The forte and the piano.
I will try.
Okay, Sorry if I interrupt you. Okay, where is the beat? It's the second note, right? Bum, bum. Even if I now was playing soft, but the sense is dum, 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 dum. This, we need the stress going in the second note. Okay. Yeah, already better. You know, I'm muting myself. You know what can help you a lot is thinking like, don't start right away, like a lot of energy in the first. Yes, it's energy, but just starting a little bit more close to the keyboard. And without, I see you are involving a lot of your body energy in that first note, and this is why it's maybe hard to. It's actually to the second one. So don't involve too much your body. Think to just go pam pam to the next note. Yeah. And then this is of course the first beat, but it's the ending of the phrase. Okay, and in this micro phrase, because actually the entire phrase is going for the H measure. But so not as important as this. You think we can try that? Yeah. Good. Can we go on? From where you start? Okay, basically, what's happening here? What's that?
I think there is a lot of kind of like he gives really short phrases. They're legato, but none of them is too long. They're all going down, you know, either by thirds or by step. So yes. I think, and there's like a long diminuendo, like diminuendo and ritardando at the end of measure 15. So for me, that is kind of he slows down his steps and want to kind of explore, you know, what's going on next.
Exactly. This is kind of connecting the first part to the second part. Okay, for first 18 measure to then measure 17. Okay, entering into measure 17. Yes, and it's just a beautiful melody. This is what I wanted to focus on. You know, it's not extravagant. Yeah, we have and we have such contrast, right, from what it's before. So to follow really the line like a singer would do. Always when we reach high notes to make them more clear. And not stopping really this beautiful line and thinking, so where are the peak of the phrase, of the melody, like this G and this. Do you prefer solfege or letters? Do you prefer sol, la?
Letters is easier for me.
What?
Letters will be easier for me.
Okay, perfect. Just to make sure. So G and then the A. Yeah. So basically thinking about that.
So I have a question in this measure actually. So on measure 11, he actually stops the slur on the A.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually the highest note in this phrase. So why would he prefer that?
The idea I think is still like Yasini will do, but he needs to take a break, little breath there. I will not worry because, but I understand why. It's just the way how he wants to be shaped and how he doesn't want the legato to be. So Okay, imagine that there is taking this break. But what I'm trying to reach with giving importance does not mean you give an accent. It doesn't mean that. It's just that you emphasize that. It doesn't mean that. And then you go into that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And you can take a little breath there.
Yeah.
Like in a singing way. Yeah. You know what I suggest you to do in general when you have, I don't know if you have ever done before, probably yes, is sometimes I do, even if I have a terrible voice, I just play the left hand and I sing the melody part, you know? Yeah. I try to sing the melody part and then I try to do that part and see how, you know, I try to replicate what I want to do, like what I'm trying to give you an example. So this maybe can help you to reach that. And you just really carefully looking at this is the first. And so you can don't need to practice everything in tempo. You can slow it down and look carefully about this little thing. And then when you put together, of course, it needs to be one thing. So the breath, it's just a tiny breath. If not, it's stopping the phrase. So little work. But very good. Can we do again from this and going on actually to the next section?
Yeah, I would like to.
Yeah. Yeah, this note, I don't know, I don't hear it. I don't know if it's the piano or it's, the other.
Yeah, the teacher was, the last time.
Yes, don't be afraid. When you do pianissimo, just press it. Don't, it will come out. Don't think too much to do the pianissimo.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. So you are. If I do mistake, it's because I don't have it in my repertoire. So I will just do more in tempo, like it's written, and emphasize even more, but crescendo, going to sing that.
Yeah.
Very good. Then listen. Yeah, very good. Now I was counting before, it was like sometimes not precise. Very good. This part is extremely rhythmical, like tan tan tati, and you're doing this very well. I like how you did B flat was shining more on piano, but it was really good. The thing, just a tiny bit, you can work maybe a little bit more on the little scales, making them really precise rhythmically. You see that there is 4 and 6 and 5, you know, but really, and right, the thing is not, I mean, yes, you need to be precise in that, but the last note needs to be arrived precisely there, you know, not loud, but I mean, not an accent.
Yeah.
And going to that. Yes, if not, very, 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 very good. I would like you, can you actually play for me just the left hand, because I was not really able to listen well from this part.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Just the left hand.
Yeah. Okay. Actually do a little bit slower, this one, and just do the first two measures. We don't need more.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Just one thing. First of all, this is everything piano, so we need to make sure. And it's important, this note, but also the other one. And I would think more it like a melody, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a little bit too much mechanic right now. This tan, 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 so feel every single note in that. Just try a little bit slower and doing.
Yeah.
I suggest you to do that and really to practice. I mean, it can be sound a little bit particular, but just the bass line.
Do you think the bass line should like crescendo and in the context of the measure?
It's more a feeling of direction and going, okay, going into that, and it's So crescendo can work as a word, just a word. Just it needs not to be extreme and loud.
Got it. Yeah.
And to make this more meaningful, and so we'll go and we will listen that mainly, because everything is it's not as important, and I think it's too present.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you think for the left hand, if like we were to decrescendo or put the highest note on the C sharp on the second beat, would that work as well?
Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Oh yes, sure. So like I think crescendo is the natural way to phrase it.
Yeah.
How about do you think that would be a possibility?
I think it doesn't. I mean, I understand, because you want to match with the right hand. Basically, this is what you would like to do. I think this is how it's shaped. Going on. Man, it can be an option. I mean, you can try even that. I'm not saying this is the thing. The thing right now, the thing I suggest to you to think about is, because it sounds a little bit too much mechanic, each note. And we want to not make it a passage like as I say, mechanic. So one way I suggest is to think to do that, but might work a bit on that. So I'm not like saying what I'm saying. It's absolutely the way to go. I'm just giving you suggestion to think, like, don't treat it just as a technical exercise, and it automatically will work. So you will.
Yeah.
It will come out better.
Yeah, I'll try that.
Yeah, good, very good. Now, one thing I wanted to do when we go to the, let's say, the development. So what's happening is then you create this so beautiful atmosphere, pianissimo. What's happening here? What's here?
So here it continues with that dominance pedal, and then it goes. I mean, there's he does a lot of kind of chromatic modulations.
What about the melody? What's the melody? What's that? This is the beginning, right? It's the elements. This is the beginning. Huh?
Yeah, so exactly. Yeah.
It's repeating, but in a totally different atmosphere, you know?
Yeah.
I'm playing it not for, but the thing is, so you create such a beautiful atmosphere in pianissimo. Keep it. You continue. It's starting to. It's the same theme, but now it's the sweetest way to play.
Yeah.
Right? So let's just maintain that, and we really need just to listen. This is not important at all. And okay, so and this also will help because then after you have the crescendo, you build the crescendo and it gets more exciting. So we want to really to make this very magical. This is a really magical part of the piece, and also. I mean, it's at the beginning of the development, it's playing the same, and it's not the kind, it's the same theme, which is in this with this way. So let's try from that, from the just a tiny bit before, because it's good doing the connection, you know. So why we don't go?
So from let's say 71.
Yeah, but it's fine there. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too much. You know what's the it's kind of like too present. We don't want to listen. This will be another thing, little thing. It's just diminuendo. Don't do rallentando. It's already written in the music rallentando here. No, so yeah, beautiful. Okay. Can you actually try to play this without the B? Can you try to starting from really the key, the A, the first A with the right hand? Yeah, and then it will be, and of course now you were thinking about this, but then you can do this big crescendo, that's so big. Okay, so okay, good. So keep this in mind. Can we actually go now directly from me? Let's try to do this again.
Let me do it again.
It's okay. And then what's happening here? What's happening? It's piano, suddenly piano. Okay? Huh? So it needs really to be really sudden, but change there. But good. And the same thing, yes, and then when we are crescendo, everything was fine. I just want to be mindful of the time and saying few things. From one, can we actually play from 1:30?
1:30.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you do this. You play with the B. I see there is an asterisk there.
Which measure?
Yeah, where you stop, the 143. It's written as at the beginning, but I see there is an asterisk there. An autograph. Intend to apply, but upbeat. No, so the notes are like at the beginning there.
Yeah, they like the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I hear some other notes.
Oh.
It's fine. Whatever. It's good. Very good. Okay. Just one thing. Changing completely the atmosphere there. I mean, it's the same thing now. It enters in canon there, right? Which prepare you to the recapitulation, right? So. So we are from real, like, kind of aggressive, let's say, and then so change right away the atmosphere there.
Let me try again.
Yeah. Yeah, and not slow down too much. And actually, sorry, I was taking too slow. I think I confused you before, but the same tempo is just so it's just changing, but before it's not legato and then it becomes legato. But then it's very good. Then just last minute to speak about the coda. Can we actually do the coda again? It's so from 211.
So let's say from 214.
Yeah, it starts from before, but it's okay. We can go from there.
Yeah.
I interrupt you. So basically, what's happening here? It's like we don't know what's going on. There is so many rests. Okay, and
changing the registers. Yeah.
Yeah. So what the risk is, like, it's like like there is too much separation with them. I'm not saying you're doing that, but just to keep in mind. Okay, resolving, and then again, starting again to do and when we arrive to actually this chord, so we have 1, 2, 3, which actually it seems to resolve, but actually goes to the 7th chord. Stay there. Okay, so we want to feel all this little change of the harmonies and not to stop between every single little thing of two measures of their meaning and need to be connected, and to arrive till this, and then here it's actually the most beautiful place in this piece, my modest opinion.
Yeah, I think so too.
Just enter again this lovely theme again for the last time, right? And it's so peaceful. It seems like, after all the drama, everything in this piece finally. So beautiful that. So we really need to feel like the anxiousness before, and then resolving in the. and making it as it's written. Basically, it's pianissimo.
Yeah.
And we just need to keep it this. We remember what you did before, okay? And yeah, so it will work very well if you think about this one. And then for one, and then suspension again, and then it's coming back. You remember the theme at the beginning,
Yeah.
the third one, and like again a little bit of drama, and then nothing happened. So this is ending with so plenty of things, and it seems so easy because it's not a lot actually going on, but it's actually a lot of thinking, and it never really stopped till when there is the fermata, all this section I spoke about, no? And it's calming down, let's say, and then we have this ending, which seems like going anywhere again somewhere, and then doesn't go anywhere. It just stopped from the like this. So yeah. So I don't know if we have time for her to play this again. I asked to Brian or.
I think we're out of time, but
Okay, good.
if I don't. Yeah, one more minute is fine. If you want, it's.
Okay, I think you got an idea. Do you have any question?
I guess how much should we stretch the dynamics in the last phrase? Because it says crescendo, but it doesn't really say how much. What's your personal opinion on the coda?
I mean, it's so it's the ending. I will do not much. I will just make it very, very simple. We need to remember we are in pianissimo. It's a crescendo in pianissimo. But I feel this more like we were speaking about this as a direction and going into there and so on. But of course, it's not. No, we remember we are dying. We are.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, it's not. I will think about what's before and before it's finished, so we'll think about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks so much. I learned a lot today.
Thank you, Johanna, for joining us on the Piano Star Masterclass. We appreciate your performance.
Oh, thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you. All right. Ooh, so we're way over time, but really appreciate you joining us, Chantal, and sharing with us your wisdom today. Very, 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 very helpful for the students and as well as the audience. So with that performance, we come to an end. Thank you for those who are watching. If you want to see more piano content, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more. Or you can click on the PayPal link in the description of this video to help us make more awesome piano content. So, piano leaguers, stay safe, happy practicing, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you.